Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, February 2nd, Groundhog Day, and the fellow Pennsylvania prognosticator Phil did see his shadow, suggesting 6 more weeks of winter. I certainly lean in that direction. Certainly the next few weeks look quite winter-like with additional cold air outbreaks coming into the central and eastern U.S. and certainly additional storm threats as well. We have a little bit of a black ice situation right now in the mid-Atlantic region, with some patchy early morning fog and below freezing temperatures. That will disappear by midday. Certainly the afternoon temperatures throughout the mid-Atlantic region climb to milder levels compared to the last few days. But we have a mess coming on Friday, and that is an icy mess coming on Friday to the mid-Atlantic region. The area in the country from, let's say, the southwestern states all the way to the northeastern states indeed will undergo some significant snow in some areas and some substantial icing in other areas over the next 48 to 72 hours or so. This is the forecast map by last night's 0Z GFS model run for total snowfall by the time we get to the end of the work week, let's say late Friday night. And again, this is the area of concern, with significant amounts of snow in some areas over the next 48 to 72 hours, and we'll see in a moment a significant area with freezing rain, including in the mid-Atlantic region during the day on Friday. Probably some of the cities that will get some substantial snowfall include maybe St. Louis, Chicago, Indianapolis, all the way out to Detroit as an example here over the next day or two, and ultimately that heavy snowfall extends all the way into New England. Now, in terms of freezing rain, this is a forecast map by the 0Z GFS, and by the way, I'm using the GFS. I think it actually has had a pretty good handle on this upcoming situation. It's actually been a little bit colder in the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., on Friday compared to some of the other models, and I tend to believe that. When I see the strength of that Arctic high up to the north and west, I truly believe that Arctic air will filter in by the time we get to early Friday into the I-95 corridor region of the Mid-Atlantic. But here's the freezing rain forecast all the way through the next few days. And again, the same part of the nation from, let's say, Texas to the northeastern states. Some of these areas will get hit by significant icing, so a little bit to the north and west, we were looking at significant snow, let's say St. Louis, Chicago, Indianapolis, in this area, a little bit to the south and east, right in this zone right here. Watch out for icing for the next 48 to 72 hours or so. It reaches the I-95 corridor region in the Mid-Atlantic region and northeast during the day on Friday, with a changeover to rain, then to freezing rain, to sleet, and ultimately perhaps to all snow. And especially watch out Friday night in the big cities, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Temperatures are quite likely to plunge. It could really intensify the freeze up on Friday night, leading to additional road problems. I do expect some road problems during the day, but they may worsen early Friday night as temperatures really take a dive when that Arctic air finally arrives in full force. It filters in by early Friday morning. Let's walk through last night's operational run of the GFS. We're using the 0Z model run, and what we're looking at here are 2-meter temperature anomalies. Normally I show 850 millibar temperature anomalies, basically because they're usually kind of a smoother look to it, smoother pattern, couple thousand feet off the surface. But here I wanted to take a look at the surface temperature anomalies, because that's what will be important come Friday in the I-95 corridor region. As surface temperatures drop to near freezing, that's when the icing problems can begin. First of all, pretty cold here starting off the day, again with some patchy early morning fog forming in and around D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, throughout New Jersey, and temperatures are at or below freezing, so watch out for black ice on untreated surfaces over the next few hours. Black ice basically referring to moist conditions on the road surfaces that will freeze when temperatures are as they are right now in the mid to upper 20s. Let's move forward in time. It certainly turns above freezing, milder this afternoon across much of the eastern states. But look at this below normal air mass here. This is a truly, truly cold Arctic air mass, way below normal, some 20 degrees below normal up in parts of Canada by this evening. And when you're talking early February, that is some awfully cold air. You can see the delineation here between the milder air at the surface and the much colder air to the north and west, the incoming Arctic air. And that Arctic air, as are all cold air masses, are quite dense. And that really is a key factor here, that it's hard to slow down an Arctic air mass as it starts to slide to the south and east this time of the year, especially if there's snow cover around, because the air is so dense, it kind of undercuts the warmer air in the upper part of the atmosphere, and that leads to a freezing rain, potentially a sleet scenario. Let's move forward here. That Arctic front could slide slowly to the south and east by the time we get to the latter part of the day on Thursday. Rain, mild conditions, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, Boston on Thursday and on Thursday night. But that's when the changeover begins, with this front now moving slowly to the south and east. Here we go. By the time we get to Friday morning, early Friday morning, that front will be right around the I-95 corridor region of the Mid-Atlantic region, and Arctic air will start to filter in from northwest to southeast. The change will begin certainly to the northwest of the I-95 corridor region, first in the interior sections of the Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S., and then progressing farther and farther to the south and east during the day, and expect a rain to change over to freezing rain and sleet and snow in the I-95 corridor region as the day progresses, with temperatures slowly dropping. Let's move a little bit farther in time here. Friday afternoon and then Friday evening and overnight Friday night, the Arctic air really comes in full blast into the I-95 corridor region. You'll likely see temperatures dropping down into the teens in that D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor, certainly in the suburbs to the north and west. Any kind of a liquid that still remains on untreated road surfaces certainly will freeze up early Friday night and throughout the night on Friday. Expect a quick freeze up on Friday night, and that is on top of the icy mess that is likely to develop during the day on Friday. Well, let's take a quick look here at the surface temperatures as depicted by the 0Z GFS model run for the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. This is the forecast map for Thursday evening. Tomorrow evening, about 7 p.m., quite mild, 51 degrees just north of the D.C. area, 45 around Philly. And look at this influx of Arctic air at the surface. We're looking at the surface level right now, and this is by early Friday morning, 7 a.m. Friday morning. That freezing line just then cutting through the suburbs to the north and west of D.C. So expect a changeover from plain rain, plain liquid rain, to perhaps freezing rain as early as Friday morning. By freezing rain, that means any rain that falls as liquid could freeze in some surfaces as temperatures drop to and then below freezing. Let's now move forward in time, and temperatures will go nowhere during the day on Friday in the I-95 corridor region. In fact, they should fall gradually during the day, and again, the rain could change to freezing rain and then to sleet and ultimately perhaps to all snow later in the day on Friday. And here we go by Friday evening, down in the 20s, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and all the way down to the coast. And the coast may be above freezing for a while during the day, but by the time you get to Friday evening, temperatures crash at the coast, New Jersey coastline, Delmarva coastline by Friday evening, and watch out for icy conditions at that time. And then temperatures really drop sharply overnight on Friday night. And look at this. These are the morning lows early Saturday morning. 15 degrees as depicted by the GFS model run for just north of D.C. by early Saturday morning. 9 degrees north and west of Philadelphia. So a big temperature plunge coming Friday night. So watch out for a quick freeze up on Friday night. And that's on top of an icy mess expected on Friday during the day. Well, let's now look at the upper level energy disturbances here that we'll be monitoring over the next couple of days, and also the wind flow here, because that plays a key role. We're moving through the day on Wednesday. Here we are by Thursday morning. This is an area of interest right here, a pretty deep upper level trough sitting right here as of tomorrow morning. Now, I mentioned this in the prior videos this week. Notice this wind flow, these lines right here. Just think of it as the winds flow parallel to these lines in this fashion, like this. And that is indeed the reason why this Arctic front will be such a slow mover. It becomes aligned with that upper level wind flow, so there's not much of a push from northwest to southeast. But again, we're dealing with very dense, cold Arctic air in the lower levels of the atmosphere. So it will make an advance, believe me. It will slowly filter in from the north and west to the south and east in the mid-Atlantic region during the day on Friday. So even though the front itself is a very slow mover, it will make some progress during the late night on Thursday and into the day on Friday when it arrives in the mid-Atlantic region. Now, let's move forward in time here, and here we are now by Thursday night and then Friday morning. A lot of stretched out vorticity, as we call it, in the upper part of the atmosphere on Friday morning, and that is a reason why there'll be lingering precipitation on the backside or the cold side of the front. That doesn't often happen, but it certainly can happen on occasion where you get post-frontal precipitation, and that's the problem in this particular case, because temperatures will drop to below freezing behind the front, and yet it will still be precipitating, so the rain will change over freezing rain and then to sleet and perhaps eventually to all snow. Then we go into the early part of the weekend, and we'll certainly closely monitor this system right here. This is the Saturday morning forecast map. It could go off the coast and not impact the mid-Atlantic region, but it's certainly a close enough call that it'll be the focus of attention over the next few days, just to see if it could possibly turn a little bit more to the north than to the east. But that's something we'll watch for, a possible impact in the mid-Atlantic region Sunday, Monday time frame. It's also possible it just shifts off the coast. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from last night's operational run of the GFS. And the games begin today in the heartland here in terms of snow and ice. Again, significant snow storm here setting up for St. Louis, Chicago, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, all the way to Detroit. And that begins today. And some ice between the accumulating snow to the north and west and the rain to the south and east. And I pointed out one of the key factors here is a very, very strong Arctic high pressure system that'll move in this direction here. 1049 millibar high, and that certainly is quite a supporter for this Arctic air mass to push to the south and east. Now let's move forward in time. Here we go. Snow in the cold sector here. Ice in between the snow and the rain. This is the Thursday evening forecast map. Now notice that breakout of precipitation back over the south central states from Texas all the way into the southern Rockies as that upper level wave over the southwestern states kicks into gear here. And Texas is in store from Arctic air, a plunge of Arctic air to the south, and significant icing in some areas and some accumulating snow in other areas. And for a while in the warm sector there will be some heavy rainfall, but this is the forecast map for late tonight, and then here we go by early tomorrow morning. Large area featuring ice as of early tomorrow morning from Texas across Arkansas into Kentucky and the parts of the upper Midwest, and to that north and west of the ice, accumulating snow all the way from Texas and New Mexico up to New England, interior New England by tomorrow morning. And then we start to focus in on the Mid-Atlantic region. This is late Thursday night, early Friday morning, starting to see the changeover to freezing rain, sleet, and ultimately to snow from northwest to southeast in the Mid-Atlantic region. The interior section of the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. will change over first. Then the suburbs to the north and west of the I-95 corridor region, and then the immediate I-95 corridor region. Let's go into Friday morning. And here we go. By Friday morning, we saw those surface temperatures on the GFS near freezing just to the north and west of the big cities early Friday morning, north and west suburbs of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And that's when the changeover from plain liquid rain to freezing rain begins Friday morning. It can ultimately change over to ice pellets or sleet falling from the skies, and then ultimately to perhaps all snow in the immediate I-95 corridor region. The coastal sections of New Jersey, Delmarva, for example, could hold on to above freezing temperatures throughout much of the day on Friday, but then temperatures will crash there early Friday night, and watch out for a quick freeze-up when that happens by early Friday night. I'm talking coastal sections of New Jersey and Delaware, for example. Then we go into the overnight hours on Friday, and it is at this time that the Arctic air really pushes in full force. Temperatures plunge probably way down into the teens in all the suburban areas of the big cities by early Saturday morning, maybe even lower than that, maybe even down to near 10 degrees in some of the suburbs north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. I'm talking northern and western suburbs of Philly, interior New Jersey, north and west of New York City, perhaps near 10 degrees by early Saturday morning. So expect any kind of wet road conditions that still remain by early Friday night. Will freeze up quickly, so I have to watch out for that. So really an icy mess coming anytime during the day on Friday and also Friday night in the immediate I-95 corridor region of D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City, and much of the nation over the next 48 to 72 hours will experience some significant snow in some areas and substantial icing in other areas, all the way from the southwestern U.S. to the northeastern U.S. Stay tuned to arcfieldweather.com later today for an update. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.